David Birdsong, who thankfully is okay. I was worried there for a minute. Um, Rowley counseled patience. Just be patient, and I think that's usually the best thing that you can do with guys. Just let them sort themselves out. They don't usually need to talk. But, I'm also glad that you, Matt, gave him a phone call. Um, Patience is a virtue. Uh, Possess it if you can. Found seldom in a woman and never in a man. Hi, Dave. You're known as being from the Eisner School, but I was wondering who your earliest influences were. Uh, I shouldn't have been surprised to find out that other aspiring artists were copying comics, and I think I was relieved that I wasn't the only weirdo who did that. I once copied an entire issue of Daredevil drawn by Gene Colan. I wish I still had it, but my memory of it may be better than it actually was. I was wondering who you were looking at when you were taking your first steps as an artist. Okay, I think I'm reading you correctly on this. I would say one of the earliest experiences that I had was I was collecting comic strips from the Kitchener Waterloo record, um, specifically Rip Kirby and Peanuts. I went through a spell of taking the whole Sunday page or comic page and saving that, but that got pretty cumbersome. And I took it into my head, what if I was to do a cover for these um, plastic sheet coated uh, mounting paper for the comic strips, using photo corners to hold them in place. What if I did? I could do a cover for the Peanuts collection, and that seemed pretty straightforward. It's Peanuts. It's Charlie Brown. It's not Rembrandt. Uh, but when I even considered, okay, uh, doing a picture of Rip Kirby, John Prentice's Rip Kirby at that time. This was about 14 years after the death of Alex Raymond, and looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, how difficult would this be to do? And going, this would be really difficult to do, and not really knowing uh, why that was. And the more I looked at it, the more I looked at, okay, um, if I wanted to be identifiable as Rip Kirby, um, I can do a full figure or I can just do the head. But I don't really understand what it is that I'm looking at. And this was the first time that I had that reaction where I was going, um, there's so few lines that go into this, but they're all absolutely perfect lines. If any one of those lines that define the eye and the eyebrow and the slicked back hair and the feathering, it's like I had been looking at Neil Adams' feathering and Neil Adams' uh, pen lines and going, well, if you don't get it right the first time, just keep adding pen lines. And looking at John Prentice's work, I'm going, he's not doing that. He's specifically saying everything has to go in exactly the right place, or it's not going to look like Rip Kirby. Um, and that takes another level of skill from, well, as long as this line is sort of here, and as long as it's a dynamic looking superhero figure, there's a fair amount of latitude on what you can do. And it's like, there's no latitude on this. Either that, and looking at it, I'm going, okay, what is that? That's, if it's a pen line, it's not any pen that I've ever seen or ever worked with. And it's like, it was the combination of brush and pen, where John Prentice, being a student of Alex Raymond, and learning his chops through the mid 1950s, doing stories for DC Comics, and it's like, this is how you do Alex Raymond's Rip Kirby style. Everybody else was still doing Flash Gordon from the 1940s, but Prentice was the one going, no, I think we're all going in this direction because Alex is over here and Alex knows what he's doing. This is like, we want to be up with the best in commercial art, and that means very, very specific rendering and no real differentiation between pen and brush. That could be brush or that could be pen. That's for me to know and you to find out. Because I just have the chops to say, okay, I'm going to go in with a brush first. This is the parts that I'm going to do in brush. And then now it's time to switch to pen. And I'll know exactly when that time is. Don't keep doing brush lines where you should be doing pen lines. Don't keep doing pen lines where you should be doing brush lines. And it was sheer drawing knowledge that allowed him to do that, which is why that's one of the biggest elements for me in Strange Death of Alex Raymond is, okay, here's me doing a rough approximation of photorealism, but with way too much cross-hatching, way too much rendering, and just more drawing knowledge than I've had before, but still not enough drawing knowledge as compared to, okay, now I'm going to copy this Alex Raymond Rip Kirby panel. And it's like, boy, is this ever specific. And this is just one panel. It's going to take me all day to do this panel correctly so that it looks like what Raymond did. And for Raymond, it was just part of his work week. It's, I got to get these 6 strips done, and then I got to get them off to King Feature Syndicate. And John Prentice going, I'm learning as I'm copying these. I'm sure he was collecting Alex Raymond strips and going, every time Raymond turns around, he does something nobody's ever done before. And I have to look at it and go, that's brilliant. So that you're going, okay, when I do this Rip Kirby, when I do this figure, did Alex Raymond ever do a figure like that? Because if he did, I want to copy it. There's no point in trying to improve on perfection. And you see that a lot in the early part of John Prentice taking over from Alex Raymond, that there's a lot of swipes because King Features sent over like a pile of Rip Kirby originals after Alex Raymond was killed, and they had decided, okay, John Prentice is the guy. And it's like, there it is. There's the guy that you've been doing, but you realize you've been doing him in quotation marks, and it's like, I don't have this level of drawing knowledge. If Alex Raymond did it someplace else, I'm copying that so I can move on to the next panel. So the fact that John Prentice was still perfecting that, through to the 1990s, having taken over in 1956, it's, that's sheer drawing knowledge and knowing what has to go where. And I still wish I had those kind of chops. And David, I've been thinking about your idea, the Instagram, putting up a strip every week to try and attract attention. I was wondering if it would be possible to put up like 3 strips a week and make 2 of them reprints. Like one of the things that we can do now that we couldn't do before because, the about the only selling point that we had was each issue was a number one. So no, we're not going to tell you what issue number of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark this is. It's issue number one. Look at the cover. You could say, this is from Cerebus in Hell number 18, whatever date that was, and page 15. And, we can maybe start getting some interest in people buying back issues and going, all right, I didn't even know that this existed. And some of these are pretty funny. And, you can sort of pick and choose the strips that you're putting up there. It's, some of them are, quote, controversial, unquote. And you're just harming your own chances of success by reprinting those. But one of the things that I thought of doing that I never did was, by the time we had, 800 or 900 strips done and in print and in the process of being printed, like pick 52. Just go through and go, yeah, that one's really funny, but people don't have a sense of humor nowadays, so we can't choose that one. But say, yeah, no, this one is funny, and it's there's no possibility of doing anything where nobody is going to get offended. That's just not going to happen in 2025. But if you could maximize it and say, okay, here's 52 weekly strips. It's across, 6 years of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, but flog them to newspapers. Do you want a strip? It's like these are all done. Here they are in digital form. All you got to do is download them and throw them on your comics page. But of course, newspapers aren't exactly killing themselves to find new comic strips to print. They're just trying to figure out how to keep their heads above water. So that was maybe you could try that 5 years ago. Probably not going to happen now. But just a suggestion on my part. I've got a premise for Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, a series of strips featuring Dante and Virgil and the Whore of Babylon and Cerebus and Francis. Like you say, back to basics. Let's just do the Dante woodcuts as conceived with Cerebus stripped into them, and just build out from there, and that will be home base. That's what we hopefully will always come back to. Anyway, just suggestions on my part.